The 2023 governorship election in Delta State has come and gone with the declaration of the People's Democratic Party candidate, Sheriff Oborevwori, as the winner in Delta State of South Nigeria. However, the echoes of the election continue to grow louder with claims and counterclaims by various candidates. The outcome has led to the expulsion of two chieftains of the All Progressives Congress, Dr. Kairo Jugbo and Ms. Loretta Onoche, for alleged anti-party activities. Notwithstanding, there are rumored reports of threat concerning the usage of the Imo State formula in Delta State ahead of the Election Petition Tribunal. Joining us now to look at the outcome of Delta governorship election as the election petition is ongoing is Igho Akeregha, President, Civil Liberties Organization, CLO, and President, Okpe People's Forum. Earlier on, I pronounced Okpe as Okpe. That was Ojineka Okpe, in my head. But good to have you on the program, Igho Akeregha. You're welcome.
Yeah, Dr. Ruben Abati, you're a senior colleague. I greet you. Good morning, Nigerians.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Well, I mean, there was some reference to the IMO formula in the introduction. Well, I don't know how that is even possible, except, the entire process is followed through. But I need you to start by reacting, by giving us your view of the election as conducted in Delta State and the outcome, and also maybe general comment on the electoral process in Nigeria as seen on February 25 and March 18. And then you have to clarify, where you stand in the matter, because the Okpe People's Forum that you lead seems to be pro-PDP and even issued a statement with regard to Delta State supporting the PDP gubernatorial candidate, now governor-elect, that's Sheriff Oborevwori.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ruben. Well, it's a pleasure to be here. Basically, you have laid the framework for this discussion. I wear three caps. As president of the CLO, I'm a journalist. Incidentally, I'm from Delta State. I'm an Urobo Okpe from Delta Senatorial District. So I went to Delta State to observe the elections, not on a partisan level. Yes, I'm the president of the Okpe People's Forum, which is interested in the elections. The two candidates, Sheriff Oborevwori of the PDP and Akeregha of the APC, incidentally are Urobos. They are Okpe people related to Okpe maternally. So there is no basis for partisanship. It is to look at the issues dispassionately and objectively, and then, of course, comments will be determined on the basis of what one sees on the ground. So for me as an individual, what I saw there is what I would prefer to discuss here. The elections in Delta State were almost like a bit different from other elections in other states. A few days to the elections, weeks, months to the elections, there was a lot of frenzy. There was a lot of hyper activity, particularly from the camp of the APC. You know, the candidate of the APC, the Deputy Senate President of Akeregha, comes with a presumed federal might, and he didn't hide that. At every fora, he tells Deltans that he was going to integrate Delta State to the center. So that basically was his campaign slogan, and that, of course, and you know that Delta State has been a core PDP state in the last 24 years. So the battle line was clearly drawn between the two candidates. For Sheriff Oborevwori, he is Speaker of the Delta State House of Assembly. He's, for well over 6 years, he has been able to stabilize that turbulent house. Before him, we saw Buya, who represented the Sapele constituency as Speaker. We saw another Speaker from the Delta Anyocha axis, we saw the turbulence in the House. Speakers were always impeached over one allegation or the other. But since Sheriff came in, he was able to stabilize the House. A lot of people give the credence to him that he brought with him his experience on the streets. You know, his moniker is street credibility, you know, in Delta State, so he's well known for that. So the battle line was drawn between a somewhat elitist politician and somebody who is a grassroots politician, represented and symbolized by Sheriff Oborevwori. On the day of election proper, on March 18th, everywhere was calm across the state. You know, Delta State consists of 25 local governments. And Delta Central, the governorship was ceded to Delta Central in line with the rotational arrangement put in place by leaders of the PDP. I do not know whether the APC had that arrangement, but basically it came to Delta Central. I think that was why you saw Sheriff and Obioma Agege, who are from Delta Central, locking horns in the race. It was a clear battle, a clear political battle between two titans, and at the end of the day, Delta people spoke very clearly and loudly. This is not about partisanship, it's about what happened on the ground. I observed the elections, I drove across a couple of local governments and I saw what happened myself. I may want to speak on really what played out on election day and a few situations that determined the outcome of that election. For Obioma Agege, he actually capitalized on the seeming division within the PDP that produced Sheriff. Sheriff was in the camp, or is in the camp of incumbent Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. And you know the leader of the PDP in Delta State is the former governor, James Onanefe-Ibori, who broke ranks with the incumbent governor because of the candidature. Ibori was supporting a former commissioner of finance in the state, David Adewia, while the governor preferred Sheriff, whom he told Deltans has garnered enough experience and that he believes that Sheriff will be able to continue with his legacies in the state. So at that point, they went into the PDP primaries, and at the end of the day, Okowa has his way with Sheriff picking the sole slot of the PDP to represent the PDP. So that was how the battleground was set for the election. At the end of the day, 25 local governments in Delta State, Obioma Agege was able to win only 4 local governments, and Sheriff won 22 local governments.
All right. What would you?
If you saw what happened after the elections, jubilations. Yes.
Sorry to cut in, because of our time is limited. Whilst you're still assessing the elections, I just wanted to puncture your process by just saying that Senator Obioma Agege has said that the election process was marred with irregularities and that he would be challenging the results in court. So the picture you paint of everything being well, all going well, and the people's voices being heard doesn't quite resonate with what the opposition has said happened in Delta State. And whilst you're speaking to that, just for you to also touch on what's going on with the APC in Delta State, we talked about the led suspension of Loretta Onoche and some other party members. In fact, a few days back, before it was debunked, they said that Senator Obioma Agege himself was under fire in his ward. I'd like you to just speak with regards to that as well. What's going on in that area?
Yeah, first, let me just start from where you ended. The loss of Senator Obioma Agege itself was clearly orchestrated by his own divisive tendencies. Let me put it that way, because Obioma Agege actually came into the party and met party leaders. People like Dr. Cairo Jubo, Onoche was there, and a couple of other party leaders. There's allegations within the APC. I'm not a member of the PDP, neither the APC. There's an allegation that he came in and then sent everybody packing, and then he made himself almost like the overlord of the APC. So clearly the stage became set for the internal implosion within the APC, which also happened in the PDP anyway. In the PDP, once Ibori moved out, we also have some PDP leaders who moved away with Ibori to support Obioma Agege. I think that was what strengthened his resolve and belief that he was going to win the election. But what drove the nail in the coffin of Obioma Agege itself was the anger in Delta State across the 3 senatorial districts, that as the number 6 man in the country and as Deputy Senate President, all federal projects that he was able to secure, he took the projects to his community of Orogun. His village is Oromuru, a small village embedded within the Orogun community. He took the polytechnic meant for the Anyoma people, that is Delta North people there. He took a proposed law school this into there too, and about 5 federal projects were all taken there. So the anger is, if he does win as governor of the state, it means he's not going to be a governor for all. He's going to be a governor for only the Orogun people and all. So people were just waiting for him. On the day of election, it was a sweep across the entire Delta North. They voted for the PDP. And Delta South, they voted for the PDP. That includes the Soko-speaking nation, the Igho and the Shekiri. They voted for also the PDP. Then Delta Central, which is the battleground of the 2 candidates, he won Uwe local government, he won Ughelli North, Ughelli South, and Udu local government. That was what the 4 local government that the Deputy Senate President won, and the Speaker, Right Honorable Sharif, picked the other 22 local government. It was a clear landslide. It was a clear, well, it is within the right, it is within his rights to challenge the elections in court, within his right, within the right of anybody who goes into a contest, if he feels dissatisfied in any way, to challenge the election. I think the worry of Delta people at this point, basically, is the fact that Akeregha himself has gone to court twice, and he has been quoted as telling people that he does not lose in courts. He has secured court victories twice. Each time he loses an election, he goes to court, he gets it. And also twice he has secured victory. And people are worried that because he's in Abuja, he's also, of course, he's a lawyer, and knowing what the Nigerian judiciary has become, without necessarily debasing all the justices and judges, the Supreme Court lately has been dishing out controversial judgment that is worrisome. The case of Imo readily comes to mind, where Hope Uzodinma up until now is still battling with credibility problem, as people refer to him as a Supreme Court governor. And so the worry is that Delta people are worried that the Supreme Court or the tribunal should not invoke the Imo episode. They should not reincarnate the Imo episode on Deltas. And so that is where we are as a state. The victory of Sheriff was overwhelming. Deltas, and it was widely celebrated, because if you win an election, people should come on the street and celebrate. The celebration resonated across Delta North, Delta South, Delta Central.
Igho.
People celebrated it. So I do not see how, yes.
If we could advance from village matters to central Nigerian issues, just your comment on the status of civil liberties during the election, and now that there's so much talk about people saying they are being harassed, they are being intimidated for making certain statements or taking certain actions.
Yes, the Civil Liberties Organization is part of the civil society coalition in Nigeria that observed the elections. The reports are out there. We do, as an organization, we believe that the elections were largely marred by irregularities and voter suppression and violence across in some areas of the country, particularly in Lagos. We saw that also in Rivers State. In Abuja, it was quite calm. So generally, the expectation of Nigerians was that of a disappointment. If we have to measure what the outcome of the election with what the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission assured and promised Nigerians, that the BVAS was going to be a game changer and that the results were going to be uploaded real time using technology. But that was not what we saw in the presidential elections. But for the governorship election, I give it to INEC, there was a bit of moderation. They scaled the operations up a bit. The glitches that we experienced, that was almost overwhelming across the country on the presidential elections of February 18 wasn't, or February 25, sorry, was not what we saw on March 18. Yes, some of the states across the country had problems. That is left for the courts now to sort out. Those are post-election issues. But generally, as a general overview of what happened in the election, it fell below expectation.
Well, thank you very much, Igho Akeregha. President, Civil Liberties Organization, President Okpe Political Forum. Thank you very much for joining us.